Hello and welcome to the Caravan and Motorhome Club's online virtual club week, where I'm going to be talking to friends and colleagues to find out everything you'll need to know about touring this year and next. My secret pleasure, not a guilty pleasure because it's healthy and it's in the outdoors and it's great, is kayaking. I love to kayak. Any opportunity to paddle, I'm there. But what you may not know is that there is now a fantastic tie-in between the club and British Canoeing, which means your opportunities to paddle, to pitch and paddle indeed, are now going to multiply. Here to talk about that and many other things paddle related is my friend Sam Rankin from British Canoeing. How are you, Sam?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I've been okay. Yeah, not bad. Have you had any good paddles recently?
I haven't, if I'm honest.
Been too busy.
I should have gone out. Some friends have got paddleboards and kept meaning to go out with them recently. But yeah, I need to upgrade my boat. Well, change it. I've got a really pointy racing craft.
Yep.
Which isn't so good for like a relaxing, fun paddle with other people.
Too much concentration required. Anyway, we'll crack on. It's lovely to see you, Sam, and always a joy to talk about kayaking, canoeing, paddling in its many different forms, because it feels like just such a natural fit with either caravanning or campervanning. You get somewhere and then you've got this unique way of seeing the world from your little boat.
Yeah. I think that is the great thing about paddling, and definitely the partnership with Caravan and Motorhome Club for us is that we're able to introduce and talk about the great places to go paddling to the Caravan and Motorhome Club members, but also for our members to see the sort of the great joy and excitement and benefits of going on a UK sort of Caravan and Motorhome Club holiday. I think that's going to happen over the next year or so, is that more people are going to stay in the UK, and it's great that the Caravan and Motorhome Club can help sort of identify those places people can go.
It's also an activity which throughout lockdown doesn't seem to have been massively restricted. You know, whether it's exercise or however you call it, we've always been able to paddle right the way through this whole thing, haven't we?
I think there was a small patch in the first lockdown. We can think back to maybe March last year. We had the first 6 weeks where no one was able to paddle. That wasn't allowed. But since that has changed, as long as you're sticking to the government guidelines, you're staying local, and you're staying safe and away from lots of other people. Yeah, paddling is great, and it is able to be done during lockdown as part of like an activity or exercise. So yeah, it's been great that it's been allowed to happen so much.
There are going to be those people who may be a little bit trepidatious, a little bit worried about getting in the water, maybe even for the first time or for the first time in a long time. Talk us through the basics about how to get started to make sure you're doing things safely.
Yeah, and I think safety is, if you're new to paddling, is one of the big things. We don't want people heading off down locks or definitely on the Thames in sort of really busy shipping areas without thinking about where's best to go. So if you go onto the Go Paddling site, that's our sort of introductory website. That's got lots of really useful information on there, and that will tell you about what equipment you need and where's best to get started. And if you're not really sure, there's lots of paddling trails, so they'll give you a great place to start, where to stop, and just the route that you can take. So that's, I think, a really good way to introduce yourself to paddling.
I mean, there must be some golden rules, I'm sure, about paddling. You know, the do's and don'ts for those first baby steps into the sport. What would you say to someone who's saying to themselves, yeah, I might give it a go this weekend?
Yeah, so I think firstly, check the weather conditions. Check that you're not actually having to travel too far. Definitely part of the restrictions at the moment, that they're staying local to themselves. They should check the water that they're going to go on. So is it, do they need a waterways license? Is it public access water? So a canal or river is really good to start with. And check the water conditions. So is it a nice flat still piece of water that they're going to go on? You don't necessarily want to go off and start heading down a sort of level 5 kayak sort of white water course. You kind of want to make sure it's nice and flat, and that you've got easy access onto and off the water. So you're not going to have to do a massive drop into your craft, or it's almost this sort of side-by-side step into it, and that you tell someone where you're going. So I wouldn't suggest this first time that you go off by yourself. Try and go with some, at least stay within the household and try and go with someone else, so that if you do get into any difficulties, you've got that other person to support you. And that you wear a buoyancy aid. So the buoyancy aid is a really useful piece of kit. Obviously you'd rather not go into the water, but if you do, that will just help you stay afloat and give you that time to get to the side and get to the sort of bank and get back out again. So I think they're the key things to think about.
On top of that, then there's the opportunity to get more formal qualifications, which is a great way to do it, isn't it? There's nothing like having a certificate or a course completion document to just give you the confidence more than anything else.
Yeah, and I think there are some different levels that you can do. So we have a series of sort of paddle awards, and they're really introductory, and they're aimed at the sort of new paddler, and it's just about getting some confidence. So helping you go forwards and back, making, like doing a stop, turning around, some of the real basic bits that will help you get the most out of it. And then if you want to progress a little bit further, there's a series of personal performance awards. And the great thing with these is that they're really craft and discipline specific. So depending on the craft you're in and the environment you want to paddle in, it will help and be really specific to give you the guidance and the training that you need. So if you wanted to learn how to go, improve your sea kayaking, there's a course for you, and it won't cover whitewater rafting. Or if you really do want to go and learn about rafting and whitewater, there's a couple of courses for you, and there's different levels to take you through. So I think that's a real benefit of our course structure, is that you can pick the course that's right for you, and that will really match the type of paddling that you want to do.
What benefits do I get then from membership of British Canoeing? Why would I bother with that?
Yeah, so I think that the key benefits that we have is the waterways license and that covers this sort of Canal and River Trust waters, the Environment Agency waters, and the Broads Authority. So some of the big licensed navigations, and that's needed if you're out paddling. And we've also got insurance as part of the membership. So that just helps give you that peace of mind in case anything happens. But I think as well as having what I would describe as those core benefits, that's the sort of gateway to paddling, there's lots of extra content that we provide, all the exclusive access and offers and benefits. And as well, you're part of that nice community. So we've got a huge range of members, and you join that community when you become a member. And as part of that, you can help with all the campaigning that we work on. So I think there's a whole host of reasons to join, not least the waterways license and insurance.
Yeah, it certainly does get you out there and make you realise that there's a kind of responsibility as well if you're on the water, isn't there? That's part of it. I'm interested to hear more about the campaigning. What sort of things are British Canoeing involved in?
So I think the key campaign that we work on is the Clear Access, Clear Waters campaign, and that's all about getting fair, shared, responsible access to waters. And the campaign, the waterways license gives you access to all this water, but it's just a fraction of the sort of inland waters available that you can go paddling on. And the campaign's not just about access, it's about securing and protecting the natural environment that we have. So it's a full-scale campaign, and I think it's a really top sort of priority for our members to be looking at that. And the other thing that members have talked to us about is just making sure that the environment they're paddling in is clean, and that it's safe and it's well looked after. So we do a lot of also get involved in conservation projects on waterways and paddle cleanups. So we work with lots of our members and clubs to help support them deliver a paddle cleanup. And it's amazing what you can pull out of a canal or a river. And it's just nice for the club to and members to feel that they've helped look after their local environment.
I tell you what, kayaking has been a massive lifeline for me over the last year, because if you're cooped up for long periods of the day, just being able to get a lungful of fresh air and be in nature is glorious. I'm just, every week I get an email from my club, and it's usually saying something about British Canoeing says this week. What's it been like from your end, trying to help paddlers through this period?
Yeah, it's been one to navigate, I have to say, and we, we're trying to be very responsible. And as much as we know that paddling is great for both mental and physical well-being, it's also making sure that as an organisation we're being responsible and that we're in line with the sort of government guidelines. And I think that's critical. That, we obviously had a patch where we couldn't go out paddling in the early lockdown, and we don't really want to end up going back to that. So what we as much as we want people to go paddling, it's making sure they do it safely and that they're following the rules. And a lot of it is having to wait for guidelines as they come up. Anything that changes, we then have to wait for the sports, the sort of DCMS to come back with what it means to both individual paddlers and the clubs. So yes, it's been an interesting one to work through.
This summer, no doubt, is going to see a lot of people heading out with stand-up paddleboards. Something basically, if you can paddle it, you guys are interested. Is that right? You don't draw lines between paddleboards and kayaks and canoes and that sort of thing?
Yeah, as long as you go forwards, you're facing the way you're going. So canoe, kayak, paddleboard, open canoe, bell boats, rafting. We cover a lot. So yeah, our name probably doesn't quite match with the description of everything that we cover, but yeah, we're fully there for everyone.
And just as important to be aware of the waterways if you're because it can feel like a bit of fun, a stand-up paddleboard, but the risks are the same and the responsibilities are the same, presumably.
Yeah, it is just a different type of craft, a bit like a sit on top. The key thing is to have a think about, we've got lots of articles on the Go Paddling site, but whether or not you need a leash to attach to the paddleboard in yourself. You should still, if you're a newcomer to the sport, wear a buoyancy aid just to make sure that you are protected. And the same rules apply whether you're in a canoe, kayak or stand-up paddleboard. If you're going along the canal or river, is just checking that you're not, that you make way for other boats coming through. Particularly for a stand-up paddleboard, they don't recommend that you go through a lock. And I think that's the same for a canoe or kayak as well, so that you do take yourself off the water and you sort of portage around it or walk around it, for non-technical terms.
Okay, I'm really excited about the hookup between the club and British Canoeing. What does it mean in practical terms? How's it going to work?
So we started quite a lot of work in 2020 with the Caravan and Motorhome Club. So we helped identify different pitching sites, so different campsites that you can use that were within sort of 20 or 30 minutes of a great place to go for a paddle. So I'd like to see that there'll be more of that happening. So lots more content to help inspire Caravan and Motorhome Club members to get out on the water. And what we're doing on the British Canoeing site is we have a map called Paddle Points, and we'll be mapping all the Caravan and Motorhome clubs onto that waterways map. And what that will mean is you can really start to have a look at all the campsites and trip and holiday home places that you can visit, and where it relates to a sort of place that you can go out and paddle. So I think from that side, it's going to be really useful. Plus, Caravan and Motorhome Club members, we're going to get 10% discount off British Canoeing membership. So I think they'll benefit significantly from that if they're interested in getting out on the water.
All I've got to do now, Sam, is find a way to put my kayak on top of my van. It's foxed me so far, but I'm not going to let it defeat me. I will win.
Yeah, no, I think if you've got a particularly tall van, I know you can do it. You're just having to get some of the V bars or the sort of caravan bar, like craft bars on top of the roof, and then work out how to get up high enough to put it on there and secure it.
Well, listen, if I don't get it right, I'll give you a call. Yeah, you'll be able to sort me out.
Yeah. Well, next time, yeah, we'll have to do that. And then we'll actually, instead of having a sort of virtual call, we can actually maybe go for a paddle, which will be quite nice in the new year.
That would be so nice. Listen, have a very happy 2021, Sam, and hope to see you on the water very soon.
Yes, definitely. That'd be great.
All right, see you. Bye-bye.